Hello everybody, welcome to the Conscious Collaboration. My name is Jarrod Allen. Today we're going to cover a topic that a lot of people have questions around when it comes to potentially working with ayahuasca for the first time, second time, whatever it might be. People are always asking about, will I vomit when I do ayahuasca? Will I need to go to the toilet or use the bathroom a lot when I use ayahuasca? Now, this is sort of the face value that a lot of people generally ask initially, and it's something that generally people talk about a lot in the space, or talk about a lot when they have had experiences with ayahuasca or they're researching it. What's really important to understand is that the vomiting or going to the bathroom is actually part of a bigger thing. It's part of purging, which is a very important part of the ayahuasca experience. It's a very important part of an ayahuasca ceremony and also a very important part of the ayahuasca process. So it's a lot more than just vomiting. It's a lot more than just going to the toilet. It's really important that we gain an understanding of this. So hopefully in this video I'm going to give you a good understanding of different types of purging that might happen during your ceremony, and hopefully give you some confidence to be able to go into your ceremony, to be able to process this process with a little bit more confidence and understanding as it happens. So the importance of the purging process with ayahuasca, and a lot of what shamans and taitas talk about when they do explain the purging process, is that we are letting go of, we are releasing, we are cleansing our body, we're cleansing our mind, and we're cleansing our soul of things that aren't serving us, or things that aren't helping us in our path of life. In the ceremony, as we're going through our personal experiences, and they're all very, very different, sometimes things come up that need to be gone. Sometimes things come up that need to be released. And this is a lot of the time what the purging is. Now, as I touched on before, sometimes this can be emotional things that need to be released, energetic things that need to be released. It could even be a trauma or traumatic event sometimes as well. Or it could even be an energy or a thought process or something that isn't working for our greater good. A lot of people are also kind of scared when coming to work with ayahuasca because in their life they've vomited, or they've had food poisoning, or being sick, and this isn't a really nice experience. So they're sort of relating that physical throwing up to being exactly what purging is like. Now, while obviously there's the similarities of those parts of purging, like vomiting or going to the toilet, it's a very, very different experience. And a lot of the time when we are going through the purging process, if it is vomiting or going to the toilet, there's a lot of other things going on emotionally, physically, and also spiritually while this process is happening. It's very, very common for people to report, and the experiences that I've had myself as well, to feel emotions, to feel a feeling that they remember actually coming out and being released as we are going through this process. That's where it does differ very differently from just being physically sick. It's one of those things, once again, very, very hard to explain until you've experienced it yourself. But a lot of the time, as I was saying, it is an emotion or an energy being released as we are going through that process. Now, a lot of people also come with the question of, will I purge in an ayahuasca ceremony? It is very, very likely that you're going to purge in one way or another during an ayahuasca ceremony. Now, this isn't to say that all ayahuasca ceremonies or experiences are always challenging, and every single ceremony or every single experience is going to have a purge attached to it. A lot of people have very powerful experiences and very profound experiences that are happy, joyful, calm, even just experiencing extreme clarity. So it's not to say that every ceremony that you do is going to have a purging aspect to it. Now, one thing that is really important to understand, that just vomiting or just having diarrhea or going to the toilet is purging. That is the two parts to common purges that do happen, but there's also a wide range of purging that happens in an ayahuasca ceremony that is above and beyond that also. Now, each and every one is just as important as the other, but the vomiting and the diarrhea seem to be the common ones that people talk about the most. To be honest, I think a lot of the time these are relatively easy. ones to go through as well. And they're all going to be different. Sometimes it's just a little bit, sometimes it's a lot. I personally have had purging processes where I've been vomiting or releasing things that were holding me back for hours on end. Sometimes it's dry reaching and energy coming out is very, very common as well. But there's been long experiences where this has actually happened for prolonged periods of time. So some of the different types of purging that you might experience in an ayahuasca ceremony, each and every one being as important as the other. We've got vomiting, so a little bit, a lot sometimes. Sometimes it happens early, sometimes it happens later. So I've seen people have joyful, beautiful experiences for 4 or 5 hours and then have a purge at the end as the finalization. Each and every ceremony is going to be different to each person. Most ceremonies are going to be very different for you as well. Generally, ceremonies aren't the same. We can never go in trying to understand exactly what's going to happen with that ceremony. And that's part of the letting go, and that's part of the just allowing the process to happen as we go through it as well. So we have vomiting, we have diarrhea. So sometimes we need to go to the bathroom once, twice. Sometimes we need to go to the bathroom 15 times. This is really, really common. I've also seen and also experienced myself ceremonies where, there's no vomiting, there's no diarrhea, and 4 or 5 hours into the ceremony, go to the bathroom. Myself, I've experienced where then the ceremony's over and the ceremony's finished and I've done all the work that I needed to do. The medicine has been within me, it's done what it needs to do and then comes out as well. So we have that, we have vomiting, we have diarrhea. Other common forms of purging can be shaking in the body, in the arms, in the legs, even the whole body, twitching, even occasionally I have an experience where my hand shakes a lot as well. All very normal parts of purging, energetic purging that we go through also. Sometimes feeling very hot or feeling very cold is a form of purging also. The feeling very hot can lead to sweating as well, which is very important as the medicine works within us also. Sometimes purging can come in the way of very heavy emotions. The heavy emotions sometimes are attached to a vomiting process. Sometimes we actually feel the emotion or feel the energy release us as we are purging or vomiting out also. Sometimes it presents itself as erratic thoughts. Another really common form of purging, which can sometimes present that we are a bit blocked or the channels of energy aren't completely correct within us, is crying just a little bit, or sometimes even crying throughout the whole ceremony, or big periods of the ceremony is very common. Sometimes it's laughing, similar to the crying, can show us that maybe there is some sort of blockage or restriction within our emotional body there as well. Sometimes people will actually scream in ceremonies. I've seen that quite common. I've had experiences and been the facilitator for experiences where people have felt heat coming up through their body, then afterwards needing to scream for a long period of time as they sort of release that energy. It's really important to understand that this is a purge. Really important to understand that this is a very important part of the ayahuasca process for someone. Because if we can understand that, then we're less likely to be scared. We're less likely to be frightened when we do hear that in the ceremonial experience also. Another one to be mindful of as well, sometimes in our process as the medicine is working within us, as the ayahuasca is working within us, we can feel pain in different parts of our body. Legs, arms, stomach, headaches, things like this are all very, very common to happen during a ceremony for a period of time as well. But if we understand that it is the ayahuasca doing its work within us and that it is not going to last forever and it will move on, and it's generally going to move to a point where we are feeling better after, it helps us get through the ceremony and have a better understanding as we go through it also. Now another one, probably the final one that I've got listed here as well, is itching. Sometimes we can feel itchy within the ceremony, in our arms, our body. Sometimes it can even feel like our skin is sort of crawling. I've had this happen a few times. Can be a little bit concerning when you're in the middle of it, but understanding that it is a purge and it is something that needs to happen is really important as well. So if we can come to it with an understanding that the physical things that are going to happen within the ceremony are generally for our greater good, the things that are going to happen during the ceremony are generally us changing our relationship or releasing or processing something, and that the ayahuasca is helping us during the ceremony. And understand that we need to go through this sometimes to be able to release something or unblock something. Then we can go to the ceremony with a lot more confidence that this is part of the process. In conclusion, I think it's really important to understand that the purge in process with ayahuasca is an integral, if not essential part of the process that needs to happen, and is very, very, very likely, if you work with ayahuasca over some different ceremonies, that you are going to experience some form of purging in one way or another. So if we can understand that it's a very important part of the process, we can then move into our mindset when we go into the ceremonies of really embracing the purge, embracing it as it happens, allowing it to happen because we understand that it is part of the process. The part of it as well that generally doesn't get enough limelight or enough credit is how we feel after. Now, I've been fortunate enough in my own ceremonies that I've participated in for myself to purge some very heavy things that were holding me back in my life. When I have purged these, I have to admit, in my life after, my relationship with the things that I was clearing out has completely changed as well. This absolutely blows my mind. I find it absolutely fascinating. I am super, super grateful for ayahuasca and how it's helped me release those things or change my relationship with those things. I'm super, super grateful for the shamans and titers that I've been fortunate enough to participate in ceremony with as well, because it's a very, very beautiful experience that I'm very, very grateful for as well. So just, I guess, if I was going to give you a couple of tips in conclusion to finish off this video is, number one, absolutely embrace the purge. If you're worried, if you're scared, if it's normal, you can always talk to your facilitator or shaman during the ceremony or afterwards. It's generally best afterwards, but if you did become scared or frightened, you can talk to people who during the ceremony or ask for assistance. Also before, in your preparation stages or in the talks that you have prior to your ceremony, it's a good time to ask questions about it then as well. So embrace the purge. Don't be afraid to ask any questions. It's very likely that the experience that you're going to go through with purging is very, very normal. So if we remember that. Also, just in conclusion as well, just allow it to happen. If I was going to give you a tip, just allow it to happen the way that it needs to. Don't try and force the purging process. Don't try and run away from the purging process. Just allow it to happen. It is medicine. The ayahuasca is helping you. And you're going to feel a lot better afterwards, and it's going to help you a lot moving forward in life. It's going to help you a lot moving forward in your process as you journey with this beautiful medicine. Thank you for watching. If you do have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I'm here to help. We are here to help at the Conscious Collaboration as much as possible. Hopefully answer your questions, but don't be afraid to leave any questions below, and we'll do our best to help you out. Thank you very much, and appreciate you watching.